been murdered. All the friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. And the bird said nevermore.
You're listening to the Call Podcast with Brandon and Josh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition and a brand new season of The Call. It is a Baltimore Ravens podcast where we talk anything and everything Baltimore Ravens football. Thank you all for listening to us on Apple Podcast, for now, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player.fm, Overcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Well, here we go. The start of training camp is upon us. The Call is venturing out for season 11 of the podcast. The Ravens are ready to go. Here we go. Training camp starts in just a few days. The Baltimore Orioles are rocking the world. This has been a good summer to be one of the birds of Baltimore. Joining me as always to talk all about it, my buddy Josh. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Season 11, or as we can call it, XI for Roman numeral's sake. It's good to be back with you on the air. Talking Raven football campus this week. We thought this season would never come. Of all the off-season shenanigans, the wild ride with Lamar, the payday, here we are. We're embarking on a new season, man. How's your summer been? Hey, by the way, happy belated. I already know I told you happy birthday today. You just came from a cave. You hosted a cave coming out from a birthday weekend. So, I saw all about that on social media. It looked like it was a lot of fun. So, Brandon's coming off of a birthday weekend, and here we are, training camp.
Yeah, so, I had a good time. I turned 38 last week. My girlfriend and I went to the Crystal Grotto Caverns, went underground. It was 50 degrees in the caverns. It's just like an hour and 20-minute drive from Baltimore, so not bad at all. It was really cool to see. Very interesting. Never done something like that before. So that was an absolute blast. But here we go. It's another season here for the Baltimore Ravens. We are about to enter training camp, and we got a couple things to talk about. There's still, everybody, I even said it when they signed Odell Beckham. I feel like this has been the busiest offseason for the Ravens in a long time. But I brought this up when they signed Odell Beckham, that it's Super Bowl or bust. A lot of people are saying that about the Baltimore Ravens, but I think going into this training camp, there are still a few question marks that the Ravens will have to address. But before we get into those question marks, there are two names that I have heard throughout this entire offseason, and that's David Ojabo and Zay Flowers. Let's talk about David Ojabo first off. I feel like this guy has put in a ton of work. He missed the majority of last season from a torn Achilles. This guy, though, he's been at the castle. He's been putting in those midnight workouts. He's been grinding. He's been waiting to get on this field. Josh, what do you think you're going to see from David Ojabo this year? What is your expectation for this player? The guy is obviously hungry to get on that field. What do you think we're actually going to see when he steps out on that field?
Well, I think you're going to see a player who's really hungry and ready to get after it. Of all the things you've been hearing, his name in the offseason, I'm really excited about that. And then some, because he had a taste of it last year, being that the Ravens took that chance in the second round to get him. And he fell to pick number 55, if I believe it correctly. And everybody was like, why? He's going to miss half the year, most of the year. He was a first-round talent and dropped. The Ravens, I thought at the time, got a steal, and I was excited when they drafted him. And, when you put him in this defense alongside Odafe and, let him go with the linebackers, with Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, he is going to thrive. And I feel like his motor, he's got a fresh motor, right? He's going to be a force to be reckoned with, full-out beast mode. I'm ready to see what the kid can go. Again, he's got the exposure, still the same defensive coordinator, knows the scheme, and this is going to be his first full year. Last year, he didn't have camp. Now he's healthy. He's back. He has some playing time. he's ready to get after it. And I feel like that's why you're hearing his name come up more often than not. And I cannot wait to see what he can do. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see what this guy can do. He wants number 55. I think he feels like he needs to earn that number as a Baltimore Raven before he switches to it. But the sky is the limit for this guy. Like you said, former first rounder. I'm really excited. He's one of those guys throughout all of training camp I'm going to be watching to see what he brings to the table. Now, the other guy that everyone's talking about, like I said, is Zay Flowers. First round draft pick this year, a rookie wide receiver heading into this season. So I can't remember what pundit it was. Somebody was talking to RG3, a former NFL player. You might remember who it is. But this guy brought up that Zay Flowers is the best looking wide receiver for the Ravens right now, heading into training camp. And he said it's not even close, and that includes Odell Beckham. Now, I love hearing that because this wide receiver core has been diminished the last couple of years. It hasn't been great, but with Rashad Bateman, with Odell Beckham Jr., and with Zay Flowers, obviously you've got a really good core there. However, I'm excited to hear he's the best out there. We haven't seen Rashad Bateman yet this offseason. He's been recovering, and we saw Odell Beckham in a very limited role during mandatory minicamp. So while, yes, I am excited for Zay Flowers, I can't wait to see what he can do. I feel like we're going to need to see more from him in training camp before I say he's our number one guy and we're going full steam ahead with him. Like, I'm excited for it, but to say he's the number one wide receiver right now, there hasn't been a lot of competition for that role right now.
Yeah, there hasn't. And what's even intriguing, you brought up, you want to get excited for the group of guys, right? But at the same time, they haven't had that playing time, right? Obviously, Zay Flowers is a rookie. You have Odell coming out, 2 years removed from his injury. And then you also have Rashad Bateman, who has yet to complete a full season with the Ravens since being drafted. And like you said, he's coming off, some ailments there. He just got activated. He is at camp. He will be at camp on time. And there's some reason for concern, right? You want to be optimistic with this crew and go, all right, Lamar's got some weapons. He's got the guys. I'm excited, right, bud? But at the same time, I am cautiously optimistic because it's like, look, we don't know. Yeah, we know what Bateman could be really when healthy, right? We've seen what he can do. Chain mover, possession receiver, takes the top off now. What the few games that we saw him last year, dynamic in those big explosive plays. I'm expecting Beckham to be the possession receiver, the chain mover, the possession guy, the go-to guy to take pressure off there. You look at the skill sets of him. Bateman's got that breakaway, big play speed, but given that he's coming off the injury, how limited he's going to be with that. I expect Zay Flowers to be that guy better and even more so than Hollywood Brown was for the Ravens, a few years back. And a lot of folks are excited that he is a more polished and a better receiver as a rookie heading into camp than Marquise Hollywood Brown was for the Ravens. So there's another aspect I'm excited about. I really want to see how these players gel together. Who cares about the drama, right? With Bateman, saying some things and this and that. Is he disgruntled? I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on with him personally and professionally, right? None of us do. But the fact remains is, man, I think that he's going to be at camp. He's going to be ready to go. And to have a veteran like Odell Beckham Jr., who now has a ring with the Rams, he was balling out in that Super Bowl before he got hurt. He's a superstar. You could even warrant a future Hall of Famer in that regard too. It's Odell Beckham Jr., man. He's that name carries swag, and he is swag, and he's going to not only swag but experience. He's going to bring that. He's mature. He's the most mature receiver and the most experienced receiver on the receiving core right now for the Ravens. So he's going to bring that veteran presence, leadership, help these young guys grow, and hopefully, the route running is going to be crisp. Hopefully the drop's going to be less, and I can't wait to see what unfolds. You're right. We saw limited caption and some of the things in training camp, not only with Odell, but others, right? And we really want to see it fully on display in camp and then in our preseason games coming up. That's going to be intriguing too, because, I can tell you right now, not to really fast forward through camp and get the preseason and all that, but you're probably not going to see the likes of Bateman and Beckham in preseason. You're probably going to get a taste of the rookies, right? You're probably going to see Zay Flowers out there catching passes from a Tyler Huntley and others. And you just how it has been in recent years. The starters, you're not going to see them, if not even at all. They might even play the whole preseason. As before it was you get that one audition in the first game, you sit out the few games, and then that last game is that rehearsal to kind of get a full series or two under your belt or a half. So, but camp is going to be full throttle for these guys, and I can't wait to see because the offense has changed as we know it, right? Greg Roman's out, insert Tom Monkey in offense, and I don't know about you, man, but I'm excited because what I've been hearing across the board is players and the coaching staff and even the local media, and you can throw some fans in there too if you want, right? What we've been hearing from that offense and that scheme, players are excited, coaching staff excited. It's getting energized, and it's getting the fan base energized because there's something good to talk about there. We hear the phrases like giving Lamar free reign. We hear the word audibles. You hear the words the players are smiling, they're looser, they're fresher. Lamar showed up to camp 5 days early. And not only that, but we know, and it's old news, but it's new news that still fresh and new news, even though we've already covered it months ago. But Lamar enters this camp a paid man, no distractions. So that's all. He's a Raven for 5 years. He's got his money. He's secured the bag. That's over and done with. Now it's down to business. Lamar can get to work. There's none of that. The questions surrounding camp. Hey, are you going to negotiate? It's done, baby. It's done. He is a bottom Raven for 5 years, like it or not, and he's ready to lead, and I can see it. And I can't wait to see what he has. Now, albeit we know the other shoe's got to drop right to injuries. Let's hopefully we get out of camp without any, with any player. But remains to be seen, but from what I'm seeing right now, man, full excitement right now heading into training camp this week in Owings Mills.
Now, like you said, Lamar got paid. That was a big deal during this offseason. A lot of money being thrown around. But let's talk about a guy who is hoping to get paid. He sat out of mandatory minicamp, J.K. Dobbins. A lot of drama going on with him right now. He's entering a contract year. He sat out of mandatory minicamp, and the running backs around the league are feeling the pressure, and they're not having their wallets filled the way that they would like. So heading into training camp, do you expect to see J.K. Dobbins on the field? Do you expect him to be a participant in training camp? And do you think that this money and stuff will get worked out before the regular season?
I would hope so. To be honest with you, I don't think so. It's ugly. We know that the running backs are kind of collaborating, and rightfully so, right? But they're a dying breed, and they need to be resurrected. Not used correctly, not used at all. I mean, you saw the graphic if you didn't see it on social media, and it's a fact. The average salary of an NFL kicker is more than the average salary of an NFL running back. They are a dinosaur. And just rewatching Bullies for Baltimore, right? I miss those days, man. You remember, give Jamal the ball. What happened to those bruising running backs, man? You give it and they inflict pain. You control the clock. Me and my dad were talking about this too, as well as football. You have to run the football to still control the clock and keep the passing in balance and keep that offense balance and keep the defense off balance. You got to run the win. And yeah, it's kind of like, and you're hearing the grumblings from fans, right? Oh, the selfishness from Lamar leaked to Dobbins, and now he's gotten it said that he wants his back. Okay, it is what it is. I mean, we get it. It's a business at the end of the day. It's these guys' jobs and professions. They want to get paid, rightfully so too. In Dobbins' case, I don't know if I can advocate for, because again, you can sit here and ask me, man, what price is he worth or what the Ravens do. I don't think it's worth much because remember, he got hurt in his rookie year. Or no, his rookie year was
he got hurt the preseason of the sophomore year.
Right? It was the COVID year when there was no fans in the stands. He balled out, had all those touchdowns, had great production. Yeah, it was summer of 21. He got hurt. And then we finally seen him come back last year. Remember, late in the year, then had his knee rescoped, and then he had that run against Pittsburgh that he ran out of steam late in that run. You seen the burst there, but he wasn't back to 100% JK. Now you have this all around, and he's holding out, and he's on the PUP list right now, or supposedly holding out is the report. And this is the reason why the Ravens went out and have a newest edition right before camp. They went out and snagged Melvin Gordon on a 1-year, $3 million deal. Everybody, of course, immediately was like, why? And the answer is simply J.K. Dobbins. I mean, if you're gonna and J.K.'s not hurt, right? You don't know what his health is now with his knee, but if you're talking about entering camp without your number one running back right now, you got Gus Edwards, and that's it. And I literally told my dad, I was like, I for sure don't want Lamar Jackson running the football anymore.
Right.
I like the addition of Melvin Gordon. Why not? Let's stack the running back stable right now because let's see what happens there. But let's hope JK reports. Let's hope he's a team player. And again, it's the other side of the business. You never want to hear these guys holding out. You never want to hear these guys grumbling about contract situations and a distraction. But again, we had to deal with it with Lamar. But Lamar was present in camp. He didn't hold out. He was just saying, we're going to negotiate until the season starts and then we're done. And then we finally got it done. So it's going to be interesting to follow this J.K. Dobbins saga. Again, the focus is going to be now on Gus Edwards and Melvin Gordon and others. Until further notice. I mean, you got to throw Tyler Batty in there too. So the running back room is going to have some focus there, but you hope JK with this new offensive scheme and all that, hopefully that business end can get worked out and there's no, you don't want to have that player disgruntled any longer and you want to satisfy it. But if it's terms of money, I don't think a deal is going to just get struck and just be like, okay, guys, just throw some money at them so we can get them on the field. I don't think the Ravens are in that position right now to do it. And I think it's just going to be a stalemate until further notice. But let's see what happens with the J.K. Dobbins saga. We'll keep an eye on that one.
Now, another position on the offense, we're going to stay on the offensive side of the ball for right now, but the left tackle position is up for grabs. Ben Powers went off to greener pastures. Literally, he got paid a lot of money to leave the Baltimore Ravens. Good for him. We're happy for him, but that does leave a hole in the offensive line. And there are a couple different names out there. The position is open, but there are some rumors going on, especially through rookie minicamp, that the sixth-rounder Saleh could potentially be the guy to fill that void. It would be kind of unheard of for a rookie, a sixth-rounder, to get a starting spot, but I think that the Ravens are open to anything right now of who could fill that void. And you got big money Lamar. You got to protect your investment. You need your offensive line to be solid to make sure he stays on the field as long as possible.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up because I certainly wanted to talk about the void that Ben Powers is going to leave here. Obviously, we want to keep everybody we can. Can't do that in this business. So sad to see him leave. As we know from our late super fan Mo Gaba, that was the draft pick that Mo read. When he selected him, so that was fantastic, and he'll always be linked and remembered in that regard. Now he's a Denver Bronco. As far as his replacement, I think, Lalu's name came out earlier in the running. He's a true rookie. But I like to see because he's versatile. He can be guard and tackle. So I'm going to start to see that's going to be the one I circle, and that's the position in camp. As you know me, I love getting in the trenches, whether it's offense or defense. That's where the money's made. Like you said, you got to protect Lamar now more so than ever, and you got to, got to pass, and you got to run block. Get these guys some lanes. Let's help our running back guys, right? You want to talk about being disgruntled and being underused, and let's open some holes for these guys and make it easier. And that spot is something of a focal point for me, and that's what I'm going to be working on. Yeah, it's easy to pick it at, right? Well, let's watch 8, see how he looks. Let's watch 3, Odell Beckham Jr., newest Raven. It's going to be flashy. It's easy to pick these guys, right? Because the offense is the machine, and the offensive coordinator is new. It's different. It's young. It's you got a lot of young talent, along with Odell Beckham. And you're excited about that, but I'm telling you right now, that position is of utmost importance. Is Ben Powers' void, and I can't wait to see how it gets filled. It remains to be seen, but we'll see. I can't wait to get back with you when we record here next few shows in this series that goes through the camp in the preseason before we get closer to regular season. I can't wait to see what names emerge, and then we start talking like, hey, this guy's looking good. This guy's faltering a little bit, and we can see who's going to rise up and fill that spot to the starting position in the line. Can't wait to see how it shakes out. Jobs on the line. I can't wait, man. It's a battle.
That's right, and that's definitely a position where heading into camp, there's usually like one name, and it's like, well, it's his job to lose. This one, it really does feel like all the options are on the table. Could it be this 6th-round rookie? Could it be Big Country Ben Cleveland? I mean, we don't know. There's a couple other different names. Could it be somebody that's not even at the castle right now that they're just going to pick up because they got cut by another team? Anything could happen with that position. So that is definitely a good one to keep an eye on. Now let's go to the defensive side of the ball. We've got Roquan Smith, full-time Raven. He signed his contract. He will be wearing number 0 on his jersey. I can't wait to see
Zero.
0. Big goose egg. Big 0 for Roquan Smith.
What are you trying to say?
He's going to get more than 0 sacks. I'll say that on this year.
It reminds me of remember Gilbert Arenas, Washington Wizards, Agent Zero.
Yeah. Right.
Come
Nice.
On,
Now we've got a couple names out there that potentially could come back. We do have Justin Houston, who is not a part of the team officially. He was the guy with the most sacks last year. So there's potential of him coming back once training camp starts or at the end of training camp. He's a veteran, so no worries if he's not in the building yet. Unfortunately, we did lose Calais Campbell. He is now with Atlanta. So that is a void that will have to be filled. And Marcus Peters is still out there on the market. He is visiting.
Raider. He's a Raider.
Is he officially a Raider? Did that happen?
Raider. Yeah, it broke an hour before the podcast.
No.
You're busy this evening, but yes, Marcus Peters is a Las Vegas Raider as of this evening.
I was grilling pizza. I know you saw my picture.
Yeah, and I told you to ferociously eat and get on the show. But which means that I'm excited to talk about the newest Raven who will fill that void is Rock Ya-Sin, who actually, I believe, if I remember correctly, didn't he come from the Raiders? I believe it or not, he did.
I'm not positive. Yeah, I see that now that I'm looking on. Do I call it Twitter or is it X?
Yes,
I don't know.
He was formerly, So this is pretty interesting. Yeah, he was formerly on Indy 2019 through 22. Rock Ya-Sin was a Las Vegas Raider. He's going to fill the void with the one Marcus Peters' departure, who is now a Raider himself. So we pretty much just swap players in that regard. Rock Ya-Sin's a younger version of that. Can't wait to see what he can bring. I mean, he's 27. I love his energy. I love his charisma. I'm excited to see Rock Ya-Sin bowl out for the Ravens in the secondary, and that's the name in the secondary I'm circling for the camp this year. Watch out for his name coming out.
All right, so yeah, that was a good. That's a good thing we brought up. I'm glad you caught that because my question was going to be who is going to be taking Marcus Peters' spot, and it seems like you got the answer. You're looking for Rock Ya-Sin to be that guy.
See, I'm prepared. I come prepared. You're over there eating pizza, and I come prepared. See, I do that. You see who's really working on the show here.
I was also doing my research after I made my pizza, and while I was enjoying it, I was watching the 2022 Raven highlights that was on the NFL Network last night. So
it's called we were balling out. Lamar got hurt, and we sucked. So there was no highlights. That's how this season goes. For last years, they come out like 6-1, 8-1, and then all right, waiting for it. So let's hope this year's a different story here. But apart from those battles, we know the rookies that were brought in, receiving core, offensive line, secondary. Looking at top and down on the roster, there is a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, right? Lots, a handful, but yeah, there's some names that were departure you already brought up. Calais Campbell, Houston, Ben Powers. But apart from that, you can count on one hand that even Marcus Peters, you can count on one hand probably the players that have left the Ravens. If you look at top and down, like I have the roster right here, right? I'm looking top to bottom here, and they're going through these lists of names. It's pretty much status quo. Looking up and down, you see a lot of names that could make an impact that you already seen last year that are going to be this year. And there's a lot of excitement. I mean, look, what I'm excited about for the defense too, and looking at the roster, how about Tavares Robinson out of Mississippi? That's a name that I want to circle as far as a linebacker. Not only that, but how about the player that they drafted out of Clemson this year?
Trenton Simpson?
That's it. Yep, Simpson. Yep. Thank you for that. Yeah, I knew it was yep, there it is. Yep. That's one of the names I'm circling too as a rookie class. It's easy to pick Zay Flowers. I'm all over Simpson, circling him. on the roster. Watch out for him in camp. I think he's going to explode and have a stellar breakout season in his rookie year. I'm already expecting it. I have high expectations for this guy. I'm putting it out there right now.
Very good, very good. So, what else should we cover here? What are any other names you want to talk about here for training camp? I mean, we've kind of covered both sides of the ball. Is there anybody else that you're really excited to see out there on the training camp field?
Oh, for sure. Come on, man. Let's talk about it. Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, there you go.
How about this one? So, again, we got the stadium practice coming up this weekend.
Yep.
I want to get my first looks of Odell Beckham Jr. Again, apart from Des Bryant, who, again, I didn't see during the COVID year in a Ravens uniform in person. This one I'm really excited to see because, look, it's no secret. One of the top receiving threats in the league for the last foreseeable years, right? For in the most recent history and past, and him to get his ring the way he did, and balling out and got hurt, finally got his, and and if you didn't read the story, it's out there. Bishotti did some persuasion and some moves there to get Beckham to come here. So you always have to thank the owner for reaching out as well, and he got Odell Beckham so hyped up. He's like, all right, I'm buying what you're selling here, Mr. Bishotti, and he took the contract, and the Ravens offered it to him, and I can't wait to see what he looks like up close to personal camp, right? That's the most intimate you can get with these guys, right? And get up close and personal and get to see them do the drills. And I'm excited to see what he looks like coming off a 2-year absence. Not only that, but I also I'm excited about Todd Monken, and you know why? Because I want to see it. I want to see the makeup of this offense. Yeah, you might not get it full throttle, and I'm going to say might not. You're definitely not going to get the full throttle and the full gambit and the exposure of Todd Monken's offensive schemes, but you're going to see what it looks like, the shell of it and the makeup of it, and that's why I'm excited. I want to see him get animated. He was animated in mini camps. He was in player faces. He was being animated with his arms. I can't wait to see his energy and that be contagious throughout the offense, and I can't wait to see how everybody looks refreshed and ready to go. That's what I'm excited to see. It's easy to pick out players in position battles because it's what it is. It's camp. It's jobs on the line. But Todd Monken was brought in here for a reason, and not only that, I'm excited, but in mentioning Monken and Odell Beckham in the same breath, the last time in recent years that Odell Beckham had one of his best years, it was 2019 in a Browns uniform, and Todd Monken was also his offensive coordinator. So they're reunited. Todd Monken is he's going to change this offense so much. You can see I'm getting excited about it. That's what I want to see in training camp. I want to see these guys spaced out, utilized correctly. And this is why I think this offense is going to thrive. And I'm making a bold statement. They're going to thrive this year, and probably I think this team's going to be on a pace like they were in 19, where they're just going to blow people out of the water. You might see Lamar sit in the fourth quarter for a few games, because I think Todd Monken and his philosophy, with the talent of Zay Flowers, with the resurgence of Odell Beckham, with Bateman coming back into his own, getting the top off the defenses, Lamar now refreshed and paid, ready to go to camp, healthy. The running backs, we got Melvin Gordon, we got Gus Edwards. Let's hope J.K. Dobbins is a part of that. And we even talked to the podcast, and we even mentioned the tight ends. Can't forget about our boy Mark Andrews, man. What about Isaiah Likely? What about Charlie Kohler? You can't get excited about these guys. I don't know what moves the needle for you, but again, we haven't even talked about the tight ends and the schemes there. So you look at it holistically, this is what I'm excited about, and I really can't wait to see how it unfolds. But again, it all rises and falls with Lamar. Absolutely. What you got?
So you're bringing up Mark Andrews. I'm going to be sporting a Mark Andrews jersey this season.
Love it. It's black, isn't it?
It's a black one, and it's a former call guest, so of course I had to get that jersey.
Oh, that's awesome. Absolutely. Got to write Mark Andrews. And speaking of, I can't wait to see what shenanigans we get into this year for some guests.
We're trying to make things happen, so we'll see what happens down the road. But
we've been asked to be some guests on other podcasts, and we have some treats for you this year. I mean, we're going to collaborate. Camp's here, training camp, preseason. It's all right before us. The call's back. Football's back this week. New York Jets were the first ones to do it last week to start camp. All camps get full throttle this week. Hall of Fame games next week. The Ravens play preseason, August 12th, I believe, or 11th. So, dude, it's all right here, and we have a lot of fun stuff planned for you this year. And we're going to revamp some things with the call. So stay tuned as always. We love to make the call, keeping it what it is, but also not only that, but making it better for everybody and everybody involved in the future. And we're looking forward to some things we have in store for everybody. And I can't wait to get it started with y'all. But again, David, I'm trying, buddy, trying. I'd like to get over to, as we call it, in London. But I would try, man. Let's hope we can get there. I don't know if you're on board, but hopefully we try to get there.
Everyone I have talked to and said, there's a potential that there's a ticket available for me. Everyone is telling me just go. So
like, live once, just go, and I'm like, it's not that easy. It's not, but we shall see.
We'll see.
Right, I've been in the same way. Everybody's like, dude, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I'm like, but we're going to try to make it work. I don't know. Me and you will be talking, see what we can do. I don't know. My buddy Chris is chomping at the bit. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how we can make it work out.
Yeah. But so since we have started training camp, there's a lot to look forward to. But for this episode, Josh, have we covered everything for this episode of The Call?
Before we get out of here, this call will be on location. Stadium practice on Saturday. Me and Brandon will be there. Let's link up and let's do a live on location and live report from what we see and the excitement. It'll be first taste back in M&T Bank Stadium, seeing the players. That'll be our first looks before we go to the Castle respectively, because I'll be there 2 days later on the 31st. And there's going to be a buzz in town, man. Camp started. The Orioles will be welcoming. I wouldn't say welcoming, but for lack of better terms, the Yankees come to town for a big series, and the Orioles are going to be featuring the Sunday Night Baseball in between all that. So the Red Hot Orioles, first place Orioles right now, as we embark on training camp. Dude, the summer is blazing hot, man. It's getting hotter with the Ravens now ramping up, and dude, be more Bird Town's a buzzing. Can't wait, but it's going to be a great weekend. That's why I wanted to certainly make a note of that. Me and you are going to be live on location. If anybody's going to be out there from the call, me and him are going to be at the stadium practice. Please reach out to us. We'd love to link up with you, catch up for a bit, as always, as we love to do with you all. So with that, I will say a hearty quote, the Raven never mow.
All right, everybody. Well, if you would like to chat more with Josh or I, you can. All you have to do is join our Discord, discord.gg/thecallpodcast. Join our little community over there. Let's have some tailgate talk, show us some flock feast. Just participate whenever you feel like it's some game day chat. Let us know what's going on with you over there on Discord. Now, we do the show for free. You listen, stream, and download for free on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player.fm, Overcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. All we ask in return is for you to please spread the word about the show. Write us an Apple Podcast review, rate us over on Spotify, and then let people know on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr and Pinterest and Instagram and Reddit and Snapchat and Twitch and TikTok and Hive and X. If Twitter's now X, I don't know what's happening anymore. It's all people just going crazy. But if you're social on the web or with your phone, say, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. I listen to the call, and you should too. Just a quick note for everybody as well. Just a reminder, Stitcher, if you are a Stitcher user, Stitcher is going away. SiriusXM bought Stitcher, and they are actually eliminating the Stitcher app. They want to put podcasts on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. So we will no longer be on Stitcher, because at the end of August, Stitcher as an app, as a company, whatever, is going away. So make sure you check out us on one of the other podcast apps out there. We're on all of them, but check us out wherever you like the best. Personally, I love Overcast. Josh and I both love Overcast. It's our favorite thing.
I don't know where, anyway. By the way, I think it just from us somewhere, just randomly. We just did it and it stuck. I love doing it. So hopefully that one won't go away. If not, we'll have to just keep it anyway. Overcast. I don't know where it came from. It's awesome.
Yeah, you just love Overcast. That's what it is. You just love it. It's the best one out there.
When I woke up, it was raining, thunder.
Rain, thunder, all that stuff. But like we said, go over facebook.com/the call podcast. Make sure you like us over on Facebook as well. We are on all the socials and that kind of stuff. So I think that's pretty much it for the show this week. We will be back next week to talk all things stadium practice. So until then, Josh, take us out the way you always do.
Brandon, I can't wait, man. Thank you so very much. And the Call Faithful, we are back in action. Ravens are back in action. I can't wait to get this started. Dude, the buzz has been exciting, man. You know, carrying it over from the summer with the Orioles, now bleeding over to the Ravens. It just reminds me of a few years ago all over again when the Orioles were in the thick of things and pushing for the playoffs, and the Ravens were ramping things up. And, it's going to be amazing come fall when the Ravens are full throttle in the month of October with their season and how that's going to unfold, and the Orioles are embarking on a playoff run. So this year could be exciting and special all in the same time. And who knows if we're having a World Series in Baltimore along with Ravens home games, look out, Baltimore. This is going to be a buzz to remember forever. But before we count the chickens for they hatch, a lot of work to be done on the Orioles side of things. Ravens are about to embark on their work. Camp is getting started. As I got my fatigues on, my military style, I'm ready to go. It's wartime. It's camp time. And 2023 season is upon us. The excitement is around. I can't wait to get after it. And I know you all are too. The conversations have been great leading up to the season with y'all. Your predictions, the season, the records, the matchups. We have already broke down the schedule. We'll probably do it one more time here prior to the season. I really can't wait. The pundits are already out there putting their spins on Ravens win-losses and their expectations for playoff runs, and what Lamar may or may not do, and what the offense may or may not do, what this defense may or may not do as a team. I'm going to have to get after it, man. It all starts this week. Tomorrow tomorrow. Wednesday. I apologize. Wednesday is the first day of camp. I'm already getting ahead of myself. And this weekend, first wave of stadium practice begins, and I can't wait till it starts. With that being said, let's embark together on season 11 of the Call, 2023 season for the Ravens. That being said, how about it? Baltimore Ravens, let's fly high.
This has been a production of Brando Cash Entertainment. Music by Brad Lepore and Daniel Kelly from the DBK Studio. For more information, go to brandocash.com.